Hello, and welcome to the Elevated Nonsense Podcast, where we intrepid weirdos discuss all the weird things in our world. Welcome.
Hi.
Today, I am your host, Zarya, and I am here with Neptune.
Hello.
Danny.
Hello!
And we don't need to mention the last one.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I make my presence known too much anyway. I get it.
We don't mention Caleb.
We don't talk about Caleb. Good reference.
So,
Oh, I think
First of
Zari's
all-
camera
No.
froze again.
Oh no.
it's fine on my screen.
Oh, she might be
Oh,
completely frozen.
no.
All right, give us a second here.
You see me now? I turned it off and
We
on
might have
again.
to do some cutting.
Maybe just
Oh.
a bit.
I'm back.
Hello?
She was the Flash for a second there.
Yeah, she did zoom.
Oh.
Am I moving?
Oh,
Oh no.
It's
almost
Not
back,
yet.
maybe.
Almost.
sorry, he's a robot.
Okay,
we can
well-
see you.
Yeah, you're moving.
Okay.
Okay.
Hooray!
You're good now.
First of all, we have a wonderful shout out.
Okay, looks like there's
For-
just some... It looks like Zarya's internet is crashing on her. We'll give it a second. Yeah, you cut out again for a
Could
little
you-
while there. It's all good.
Usually in this spot in my room, it's fine. Usually it's good. I don't know
Uh-huh.
why today it's not. But
It could just be the network itself, and not necessarily the positioning of your laptop, but we won't worry about it. It happens. Continue from where you left off. It's no big deal.
so we have a big shout out for the wonderful JD for being a Patreon subscriber at the Tree Eater level.
Thanks, JD, again.
Yeah.
Love you. We still
We
love,
love
you,
you.
no matter what.
That reminds me. I have payouts that we can claim.
Oh,
I won't talk about that in podcast, though. Go on. Sorry.
We have a Discord. Join our Discord if you want to, hang out and talk to us.
It's a
If
good
you have
time.
any, suggestions, if you just want to say how much you love us, because I know you do, you can come and
better.
tell us in the Discord.
These.
We also have other social media, Instagram. I believe we have a Twitter, TikTok. I think those are the only ones.
And then, of course, now our YouTube channel.
And our YouTube,
Yes.
yes. We now have a YouTube as well. And we have merch on Redbubble. If you want to get merch, we have merch. We have our nice, lovely logo merch. I have
and
my
a
hat
brand
here.
new design that was just released.
We
as
have
well.
a brand new design too.
Yeah, we do.
We don't have
We
any demo
have-
merch for that, but
We don't have demo merch for that, but we have Ian's dream meme. We have Ian's whale dream meme.
yeah.
If you were unfamiliar with that, hop into episode 13.
It was the first stream we discussed, too. So you don't have
Yeah.
to wait too long.
Or you can look at it in our Redbubble store
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and have even more questions.
yeah, you could just have no context. Either way, there will be a couple of other versions coming as well that has one half of the meme format, too.
Yes.
But yeah, I whipped that up pretty quickly, but I was quite proud of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's the exact. Ian said it's the exact quality that was in their dream as well. So it's it works, it fits. But anyway, today our topic is hyperfixations. We're going to be talking about stuff we've hyperfixated on in the past, stuff we're hyperfixating on now, all sorts of different things. Because
and I
we're
guess-
a podcast of neurodivergence, so...
Yeah, and I was going to say, if there are any people who are unfamiliar with the term hyperfixation, it is basically an interest that takes up all of your processing power in your brain for a certain period of time. Like, you may hear of neurodivergent people having those kinds of obsessions. They'll
Sometimes
fixate
it's
on...
also called a special interest.
Yes, special interest is another term for it. But something like, if someone decides out of the blue with no preconception to just learn calligraphy or wax seals or woodworking or anything like that, that can be classified as a hyperfixation.
Caleb is just calling me out there.
They were the ones that came to my
I
mind.
am hyperfixated on both calligraphy and wax seals.
They were the most readily available as examples.
They were what came to mind. They're what I remember distinctly from TikTok. Looks like Zaria's pulling out something to show.
Ooh.
Oh?
Yep.
Calligraphy.
Yes.
There we go.
I love that.
Speaking of, and as we referenced before, if you want to see the calligraphy, go to our YouTube channel, Elevated Nonsense.
Yeah.
And all of our links and stuff are linked in the episode description.
As usual, yes.
Something fell behind me, but it's probably fine.
Oh well. But yeah, hyperfixations today.
So, does anyone want to go first?
I always want to go first, but I don't actually.
Let's go with Neptune. What do you want to talk about, Neptune?
All right. So,
Like-
I mean,
I'm gonna try.
as far as there's not really something as far as a hyperfixation, I guess the thing I've been mostly focusing on is Pokemon, but that's just like a constant thing in my life at this point. We have 2 other Pokemon episodes that are very big evidence of that for me.
I mean, yeah, a decent chunk of your branding and identity is based on your love for Bulbasaur.
That is also
and
true,
grass
and
types,
let me tell you, I don't have my capture card right now, so I am unable to stream Pokemon, and it has made me very sad.
Oh.
Was it covered under warranty? What was the situation around that?
I'm assuming it just stopped. The card just wouldn't capture the audio. It wouldn't capture the game audio at all.
I
The video
definitely
was
remember
fine,
that.
but the audio was janky. And I hadn't even had it for a year. So I sent it. I checked with them and they were like, yeah, send it back to us and we'll send you a new one. So it should be on
Hopefully
its
that
way.
happens quickly. I was going to ask who made it, but that might be calling somebody out. So let's just not cover brands.
Yeah.
Unless we're sponsored by brands.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay,
Yeah,
but
let's not open any lawsuits.
But yeah.
But
your
yeah,
hyperfixation
hyperfixation Pokemon specifically because of the recent announcement for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet has really jump-started it because there was only maybe a minute and a half trailer, and within that minute and a half trailer is only like maybe 30 seconds of the actual game as it is right now, but it was still super cool. They had like 30 seconds of the game environment, and in addition to like the 3 new starters for the region, which are 3 new starters, grass, fire, water starters as per usual, but you have I remember their names. You have Sprigatito, our lovely grass cat. You have Fuecoco, our lovely crocodile pepper creation, and Quaxley, our duck with a lovely hairdo and a lot of sass.
Quaxley and his wig own my whole heart.
Oh my god.
I love the wig duck. It's
But
so
also,
good.
like, oh yeah, Fuecoco. A lot of people confuse him for an apple because of like the white
Yes.
around his face, which, fair.
No, I did at
But,
first when I first watched it.
Oh yeah. He is such a no thoughts head empty boy. You
I
take
love
one
the
look
grass
at him
cat
and it's
too.
like there's no thought. I love all the starters.
No,
I've
yeah.
seen
Actually,
some
this was
already pretty cursed drawings around them, though.
I have not seen it. If I have not seen it, it does not exist.
I will tell you about some of them that do not exist according to your process here. So Rubber Ross on YouTube, who does a lot of Gartic Phone videos, he drew versions of them where, and I don't remember their names. I have not. Just let me do them by type. It's going to be easier. I will learn their names, but at the moment, I don't think it's worth the effort for me. But anyway, the grass cat was drawn as a weed-smoking Garfield.
I've seen that.
I've seen ones of the fire type being an Among Us bean, because anything vaguely shaped
Because of
Among
course.
Us becomes Among Us. And then, what was...
Donald Duck.
Oh, yeah, I have seen Donald Duck. In Ross's drawing specifically, he just drew him as... He drew, like, the coif of hair as a blue tumor.
Oh my
which
god.
was strange.
I also saw one. It was like a full evolution line of Sprigatito.
Mhm.
So it started
Oh
as
no,
Sprigatito,
I know this one.
and then he evolved into Garfield, and then final evolution was the cat in the hat.
Yeah. So weird. Somebody posted that in the video games discussion channel or something.
That was me.
On Cass's Discord.
I posted that.
Ah.
I posted that tweet.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I've
Yeah,
seen most
was-
of the meme drawings. I was mainly referring to like anything Rule 34. I'm not touching
no.
any of that.
I wasn't going to go Rule 34. I guarantee something already exists, and
No,
I
yeah.
hate it, but
Oh yeah, I think
we're not going there.
Yeah, no, I've seen one where they were all drawn buff.
I saw that one too.
Strong.
Yeah.
Strong.
I kind of love the like Giga Chad drawings of things.
I also saw a drawing of Sprigatito where the final evolution was the fire cat from X and Y, I think it was. I can't remember.
Incineroar? Yeah.
Yeah, where it was Incineroar but green.
Yeah.
And so it was like final evolution of Sprigatito.
I guess they are getting a little.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of
short on
people's
ideas.
predictions for Sprigatito is just that it's going to be grass type Incineroar. And I'm really hoping that that's not the case, to be perfectly honest.
I did see like a legitimate drawing on TikTok that was like theorizing what it could actually be, and like it was like a cool like big cat, like big hunter cat type of thing, and its typing was grass fairy.
Yes, I saw that. That's closer to what I hope we get from that. But
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like what do you want the final typings to be
yeah, I was going
for the
to
starters?
Yeah, so I really like the interpretation by the one artist of the grass fairy for Sprigatito. I think that works wonderfully, and I'd love to see that become a reality. For Fuecoco, I've seen a lot of like prevailing theories that since he's a pepper, he's going to turn into a fire ghost type, which I think would be really cool also.
I would love that.
Yes.
That'd be a clever play.
I just don't want another fire starter to end up being firefighting.
Yes, exactly.
Because we've got like 4 of those now.
A fire ghost would be fun,
Fire ghost would
especially
be
for the joke of the ghost pepper.
Yes, exactly. And Quaxley's the only one that I'm not sure about, because I feel like it'd be really boring if they kept him as like a water flying.
My thought was like maybe like water psychic, kind of like
Okay.
Psyduck.
I wish they would branch out a little bit more sometimes.
Yeah.
Zarya, have you really been into Pokemon that much?
I've never played any of the Pokemon games other than
wow, yeah.
Unite.
Okay, so you have cultural context because it's kind of just pervasive to a degree, but like...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've finally actually been playing Brilliant Diamond.
Nice.
And I never realized how different the story between Diamond and Pearl versus Platinum was.
Yeah.
Because my Gen 4 game was Platinum.
Yeah, that was
And
also
so, like,
mine.
But
a few episodes ago, yeah.
Pokemon were mostly like DS games and stuff like that, right? And like I never had a DS. I never had anything that I could play it on. So like,
Which is
of
fair,
course I never played it.
Yeah,
all
no,
of the
that's also
mainline
very
games
fair.
were always handheld on the handheld consoles.
Yeah, so like I didn't have anything that I could play it on. So like,
Yeah, and we know from last episode that your mom was very much a Sony person, primarily at least. So yeah, that lines up. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, like because I also like get in moods of hyperfixating on Pokemon. It's gotten really bad to like the point where like I just want to go and buy a DS so I can play all my childhood Pokemon games again.
Yeah, we've brought that up a couple of times.
Yes.
But obviously, like, they're good games. If you do ever get the chance to play any Zarya, like, it's still recommended for sure.
yeah.
I don't know. I have fallen out of interest just with the general gameplay loop overall. BDSP, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, for those who don't know that acronym, does feel pretty good in terms of the flow of, like, for one thing, group shared XP is one of the best things to happen to Pokemon.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, both Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Sword and Shield have changed up the gameplay loop, like even like just a little bit.
I mean, Legends Arceus changed it a ton.
A lot.
And I will get back to that one at some point soon here.
But,
yeah, Sword and Shield got the gameplay loop changed up as well, which I thought was interesting. But I also just will play any Pokemon game I am given.
But I kind of miss some of the story stuff they did in Platinum. I thought that it was a little more like complete in that game. And I was surprised that I was never going to run into Looker, because I'm very familiar with Looker from Platinum. Or not very familiar, but I just remember him fondly. He was sort of like a private investigator type guy looking into what was going on with Team Galactic.
Yeah, and I mean, that's how it's been for like most of the like third games of the generations, like for Crystal and for Emerald and for Platinum. They were all like the most like well-rounded, complete versions story-wise, and
the most polished.
Yeah, the most polished.
Yeah, I kind of wish that they would do remakes of the third installment when they do those remakes.
Yeah.
But then again, with Gen 4 done now, that's the last time that they ever did a third installment. Yeah. After that, they just did either direct sequels or like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Third one, it's XYZ.
Oh yeah, right. Okay. But in any case.
And I mean, Black and White had like full sequel games.
Yeah.
Black and White too.
Yeah. They've transitioned, it seems now, more to sequel games.
More to sequels, yeah.
But I'm interested to see what kind of changes are made for Scarlet and Violet. And now that I hear the starter names again, I guess it should be a little obvious that the new region is supposed to be based on Spain.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
They sound a little too Spanish to...
Sprigatito.
That had a bit of an Italian.
Yeah, that was very Italian. But I am not one for accents, so I apologize.
I can't do accents either, to be fair.
No, neither can I. You guys have heard my accents before.
Yeah.
But yeah, Scarlet and Violet should be cool. More open
Yes.
world. Apparently supposed to be seamless.
Yes,
Already
I'm
looks a
very
decent
much
bit better
looking
than
forward to
Legends
see.
Arceus did.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how they blend, like, it's essentially like I'm expecting it to be like a blend of Legends Arceus and Sword and Shield, at least in terms of feel and gameplay mechanics.
Yeah, well, and they've specifically said that there are going to be no borders. So, like, you can
Yeah.
literally go wherever you want.
Mhm.
That's going to be very cool.
You can travel to the other regions. No,
I
I
just
know it won't
hope-
be going that far.
No.
I just hope that they can get it done in time, or they have the wisdom to take extra time if they need it.
Honestly, because that's the thing, is the annual release schedule, it's just not a good business model.
Yeah.
Games are too complex these days to really work in an annual release schedule method, unless you've got multiple studios of hundreds of people each.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, it still usually doesn't work out.
Yeah.
We've seen that with like the Battlefield franchise, Call of Duty, Halo. We've seen it with Assassin's Creed. Like, some of the biggest players in the games industry just gradually being knocked down by annual releases.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't work. But okay, so what do you love so much about Pokemon? Why is it your hyperfixation?
Honestly, I think because I didn't start with like the original Red and Blue, but I did start with the GBA ones. I started with Fire Red, that was my first Pokemon game, and then got
Leaf Green
Emerald
was mine.
like not too long after that. And I think what's always been like, obviously I do find the stories to be captivating in a sense. Like, they are like, I don't know, I just find them interesting overall, and they do, like, they change up the themes between the generations every now and then, and it's nice. But overall, I think what I really like is just the collecting aspect of it. I really just enjoy catching them all, as the saying goes. I love catching all the Pokemon. I love completing the Pokédex. That is always like my overall goal when playing a game, is to acquire all of the Pokemon.
That's always my least favorite part.
I'm with you on that, Neptune. As someone who generally hyperfixate on collections, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I've always
get
been a collector, not just as far as video games are concerned.
Part of my trouble when I was young is that I never had friends to do the trade evolutions with and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Or like the version exclusive trades. So yeah, I just never had any outlet to be able to complete the decks anyway. And then of course, like in the DS era, I got an action replay, so I was able to just cheat everything. And then even though cheating in games like, you know, in single player games or using like cheat mods when it's available, is entertaining to a point for me. It's like, oh yeah, I can get a level 100 Arceus and have like 1,000 Master Balls. But then once I do, it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah, exactly. No,
Just
because
like-
I did.
All of the actual enjoyment is torn out.
I also did have an action replay for a hot minute, specifically. Yeah, no, for probably like a month or two, I had an action replay, and I used it mostly for Pokemon because obviously there are event Pokemon that I missed out on, and I was like, okay, well, I need the event items so I can get those. And that was like the primary reason that I bought the
Yeah,
action replay,
I
was just so
definitely
I
did
could
that
get
too.
the event Pokemon.
Yeah, because like I did the same thing. I think Darkrai is one that I remember a lot from Gen 4
Yes.
specifically.
hmm
And so I totally got that mystery gift with the action replay every
He's
time
still
that I
one of my
could.
favorite mythical Pokemon, Darkrai is.
Yeah, he's cool. And I don't remember if these two things lined up, but I feel like I remember Darkrai being in my mind at around the same time as stuff like Slender Man.
Oh, really?
So I think I
No,
might
yeah,
be
that was
wrong about
definitely
that.
around
I
the
might be
same
mixing
time.
up timelines.
That was
Been
definitely
the same
around the
time.
same time Slenderman was blowing up.
Yeah. So it just kind of, I don't know, they kind of fed into each other a little bit, I guess. But yeah, that makes sense.
No, yeah, so yeah, I had the action replay, but like obviously I got like a little too into it where I was like maxing out all my items and stuff, and I was like, well, now I just feel guilty and this is pointless.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, now I can just one-shot everything.
Yeah.
It's just not fun anymore. Yeah. I find the same thing when I like even just spawn in items for myself in Minecraft. In order to like dodge certain amounts of things that I need or certain rare items or whatever, then I just kind of lose interest. I kind of got off of my hyperfixation that I had a week or two ago about Minecraft specifically as well. So like it just kind of happened naturally.
Yeah.
Something else that's interesting about Minecraft, though, is that if you buy one version for the PC, you get the other version. So if you buy Bedrock for PC, then you get Java for PC, or vice versa.
I did not know
They're
that.
doing a little promo with that. That's been a very recent thing.
Okay, yeah, I was
I
like,
launched
because
it
when I was
today.
researching to like trying to buy Minecraft like a year ago, I don't think that was a thing.
It definitely wasn't. And I think that if you own one of them currently for the PC, again, then you are able to get the other one currently.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
that might not be a bad idea.
indeed.
Yeah, kind of cool. Do we want to move on to the next person?
Yeah,
Or do you have
that,
anything else to
that
talk
could,
about, Neptune?
No, that covers everything I wanted to ramble about Pokemon.
Okay.
Danny, you want to go?
Danny.
Sure, I can go. So I've got a few that I could talk about.
She's written a speech.
I have not written a speech. I just wrote down my few hyperfixations that I thought about last night. So we've already covered a few of them. Like I got very into calligraphy and like word art
Yes.
and stuff like that. Hand lettering, that's what it's called, for quite a while. And I mean, I've always had an obsession with stationery and stuff, so like that was just
I
a
feel
good
that.
outlet for me to like get a reason to use it. As well as like I've been like watching like wax seal videos on TikTok for a long time, and I've been wanting to get into that for no real good reason because it's not like I send letters anywhere. Yeah, I was also like really into like bullet journaling for a while, which ties into the calligraphy and the stationery. So that was like me at the end of high school. I was so into bullet journaling.
You know, it's
Yeah,
so
like I've got a few that like
it's so funny because I've the same way. I've always wanted to get like a wax and seal kit, but then I always tell myself like, when was the last time you sent a physical letter to someone?
exactly
That's the thing.
like
yeah.
really the only time I do letters is for birthdays. Like you just give them a card with like a gift card, but that's
Yeah.
the only time.
Yeah.
And like I don't got time for that. Usually we just go to the store day of to buy a card and then put the gift card in.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways. Yeah, and I hyperfixate on collecting things. One of my current favorite and biggest collections are my pop figures.
Yes.
My Funko Head pop vinyl figures. I have quite a few.
Yeah, there are a number behind us. The one above Danny's hand, or the ones above her hand, are all of our Vox Machina ones from Critical Role.
I almost have the full collection of the Vox Machina pops.
Amazing.
We just need Scanlan and Grog currently.
Yeah, we're just missing Scanlan and Grog, which I'm excited. And there's more on the shelf that I have not distributed amongst the shelves yet, because I like using them to decorate my bookshelves.
Same.
And before anybody asks, I am not the kind of person to keep them in the box. I don't see the point of that. I like admiring how pretty they are. And like they just look so pretty when they're decorating a shelf or whatever. It just makes me happy.
I agree. No, I will only keep them in the box if they're an exclusive of some kind. Otherwise, I will take them out and display them anywhere.
Yeah, that I can understand. But with a lot of like action figures or collectibles of any kind, I never see the point of keeping them in a box. Mm-hmm. I don't really care about the resale value when I buy stuff like that. I care about having it and using it.
Mm-hmm. And like there's so many cool things on pop figures that you wouldn't know about if you kept them in the box. Because again, like for my Vox Machina pops, every single one of them had a quote on the inside lip of the box as you opened it up that had to do with the character.
Oh, that's so
and that
cool.
made me so happy. Yeah, because the one for Vax said dagger, dagger, dagger. Because, you know, that was his attack pattern. He would throw 3 daggers in a row. And Percy's was the iconic quote, life needs things to live. And, like, it's just... It made me so happy noticing those. And, like, I love just, like, rolling them around, like, just taking a look at them. Yeah. I've got a lot of pop. I'm trying to think of what other ones I've got. I've got quite a few Harry Potter ones, because Harry Potter is another one of my forever fixations. I am currently wearing a Deathly Hallows t-shirt right now.
I've had a USB stick in my hand the whole episode, and I have dropped it now twice.
Good job.
It is not quiet.
Yeah, Harry Potter has been another fixation of mine since I was 8 years old, because I read the entirety of Harry Potter when I was in 2nd grade, because Deathly Hallows had just came out. It took me the whole year to read it, but I read all of Harry Potter when I was 8 years old. And I've kind of been obsessed with it ever since. So it's another many thing of my collections. I own all the books. I'm collecting the 20th anniversary editions that they're releasing.
Oh.
As they come out.
Yeah, as they come out.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're in the house. They're in the house colors, and they're beautiful. And like they come with extra content and a map inside of each one. And I am a sucker for a map.
Facts.
and you know, it's collections. I guess books also counts as a good collection of mine. Yeah, I've got countless like Harry Potter merch items, shirts, figures, books, like all of those things. And like I just back before like I got really disenchanted with J.K. Rowling, I dove so deep into like the lore. Like I was reading every little bit that was published on Pottermore. Like I was like doing all the quizzes and like all sorts of jazz, but I haven't been back because you know J.K. Rowling. That's all I will say.
Yeah. You really don't need to say more. We don't need to give her any more talking time than she's already had.
Yeah, it's a shame that I love her work so much.
I mean, it is, but it isn't.
But anyways, that's a whole other issue.
Yeah, disconnecting art from their artist is a conversation for another time.
Another one of my hyperfixations that has been like on and off for the past little bit is fan fiction. Because I am big into fan culture, and specifically I reread like the same 5 fan fictions over and over again because they're just so good.
And because you're a comfort reader, you reread the same stuff over and over all the time.
And there was a time where like when I was working, like I didn't have data on my phone. I was just using like a prepaid phone plan from like the gas station. I would download the fanfics and read them on my break at work to keep myself entertained. But it's been a comfort thing because I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Voltron, Legendary Defender.
I've heard of it.
Rebooted.
Yeah, the reboot, not the 80s one, the one that came out on Netflix. I'm a huge fan of that show. And whatever anybody might say, I liked the 8th season. Don't come at me. It's fine. It's good. But there's just a lot of issues.
Sure,
with the fandom
there's a lot of
with
issues.
The last season in particular.
There's a lot of issues that people have with
not
it.
even just with She-Ra.
Yeah.
There's a lot of issues that fans, air quotes, have with a lot of things.
Yes.
I'm part of the Star Wars fandom. That gives you enough idea right off the bat.
Yeah, no, especially in the last few seasons, the Voltron fandom got very toxic. Like, I kind of, like, disconnected myself from that.
As you do, yeah.
But yeah, in the show Voltron, there is this one huge ship that, like, pretty much, like, it was... Everyone who was in the Voltron fandom basically shipped this one. And it's clans, Keith and Lance. And that's where most of the toxicity from the show comes from, unfortunately. But
as in people who are against that or people who are for it?
People who are for it.
Okay.
Because, yeah, there's a whole thing, like, their biggest issue is, like, they thought it was queer baiting. So, you know, obviously they sent death threats to the creators.
Because, you know, as an impassioned, angry fan, that's just what you do.
Yeah, apparently.
Don't keep doing that, people.
Yes. But yeah, so all the fanfics I read are by this one author on AO3 who just does exclusively Plants fanfiction. And it's incredible. Like, it's all incredible AU. Like, there's super long one-shots, but there's also, like, full novel-length fanfictions of clans. And I love them because they are completely in character and they're well written, which usually you only get one or the other with fanfiction.
Mm-hmm.
And so because that's where I started with my clans fanfiction and like just fanfiction in general, I don't want to go anywhere else because I know what is out there.
Mm-hmm.
But like I know what I can have and I'm scared that I'm not going to be able to find it anywhere else. So I just read the same ones over and over again. And, like, they're all different AUs, so it makes me feel a lot better. Like, there's one that's a soulmate AU, and there's one that's fake lovers to lovers, which is, like, an incredible trope. Like, there's so many things, and Caleb is telling me to stop talking about it.
Not necessarily.
No. But yeah, it's just... If any of you want to look at them, it's Witty Name, WITTYY name on Archive of Our Own. They do great Clans fanfiction. And then my final hyperfixation that I can really talk about is my love of musicals. Mm-hmm. So I did musical theater in high school. That's where it started, basically. And I listened to Hamilton for the first time during the summer of 2016. And that was the only thing I listened to for 6 months.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the way you operate.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like literally the only music I would listen to for half a year was just the Hamilton soundtrack on repeat. And then from there I got into like a bunch of other popular musicals at the time, like Dear Evan Hansen and Heathers, and it's a real problem. I have, like, if Caleb says anything remotely similar to a line in a musical, I will burst out singing that song, and I will not stop unless he like physically stops me.
That's not totally true anymore,
That's so good.
but that's how it was at the start.
Yeah. Yeah, like, especially because I can sing at least 5 musicals from start to finish.
Oh man.
Like, no stopping, like, end after end. It is a problem. But it's not, I love it.
No, it is.
It's a problem for you.
We'll be having an intervention.
Oh my god.
It's fine. I could be addicted to drugs, guys.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that your other addictions are fine.
It could be drugs.
It just means they're less bad.
Yeah, no, there are at least 5 musicals that I can sing end to end, and like I've got like my musicals playlist on my music app is at least 6 hours long, I think. And that's not even all the musicals I normally listen to. Because there's some like YouTube exclusives that I watch. One of them being the Harry Potter musicals.
Of course.
For any that are familiar with those. And it's... Yeah, like I still have an ever-growing list of musicals I need to listen to in order to be happy. Not in order to be happy. I'm very happy otherwise. Like, aside from my expression.
Sorry is giving you a look here. Like, are you sure?
It's just constantly growing. Like, I see so many things of like, oh, you need to check out this musical. And I'm just like, okay, add it to the list. Will I ever listen to it? Who knows? But it's on the list.
It's like, yeah, it's one of those lists that we all have. It's like the movies that you and your friends say that you need to watch someday, and then you never do.
Or the books you need to read before you buy
the books I need to read.
Hey, we're both guilty.
Yeah. But hey, I have finished 2 books this week, and I'm very proud of myself.
Books that you have read before.
Yes, but it's still 2
Still
books.
finished them.
That is right.
I'm just saying that we have a ton that have not been read yet. I'm guilty of it too. I'm just pointing out that is the case. Also, we need to get a better chair than this.
Yeah.
Whether I or you are sitting in it. This is not the most comfortable fold-up chair.
I mean, it's a fold-up chair from Walmart.
It's a fold-up chair.
I don't expect much, but like...
The only reason we bought it was because when restrictions lifted a little bit, we could have people over. We needed more seating to have our whole D&D group over to play D&D. So...
And then not even everybody was there.
Yeah.
Well, one of them I understood. Yeah.
Those are my biggest hyperfixations, aside from D&D and my crippling dice addiction. But we can do a whole episode on D&D. We've already done one on D&D.
We've done one. And there will be more.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because again, a group of neurodivergents.
Yeah, so, Caleb, you want to go? And in the meantime, I'm going to grab something.
Oh, all right. We're going to have, like, some props or something.
Show and tell.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, what I was going to cover is a long-standing fixation, mostly from my childhood, because the thing doesn't get made anymore. I've brought it up in the past a little bit. It is Bionicle. I love Bionicle. There's so much to love about it. They're great toys. It's an awesome franchise. It's got really surprisingly deep story for a line of kids' toys. Sorry, we are talking about Bionicle.
I figured.
Okay. Yeah, that's a fair assumption with me, I guess. But, so there are a decent amount of people who are not familiar with Bionicle, so I'll go over it a little bit. Here's an example for the video watchers. I'll bring that out again in a moment. But Bionicle was a line of Lego toys that started in the year 2001, or maybe 2000. Can never remember which. But it involved a bunch of constructible action figures that existed on this alien island planet, or not island planet, but on an island on an alien planet that had different elemental powers and were fighting against this evil entity called Makuta. There were a couple of issues in the early days in terms of legal troubles. Lego decided, in their infinite wisdom, to use some words from the Maori language and then attempt to copyright them. It was a dumb, strange move on their end. So the names of like the words that they used for like the hero warriors and for the villagers and those sorts of things were actual existing words in their language that they decided to use. The Maori people didn't like that they were trying to... I don't remember if they actually tried to copyright the words or if they just tried to capitalize on them. But either way, they didn't like that. That's a story for later. They changed some of the names of certain things in order to make them a little happier. And then the toys overall were extremely successful. They actually were massive in the contribution to saving Lego from bankruptcy at that time. You'd think like, oh, Lego being close to bankruptcy? That doesn't sound right, but no, they totally were at that point in time. And it did a lot to bring them out of that. But they're great toys, not overly compatible with existing Lego stuff, except for Lego Technic. And so a lot of people who are not Bionicle fans aren't fans for that reason, is that they didn't really feel like they worked into the ecosystem quite so much. Mm-hmm. But I am obsessed with them. I was obsessed with them. They have so much depth to this massive sweeping story. It goes a lot deeper than just like, you know, elemental robots fighting bad guy. It went into things like, yeah, let me try to think for a second. So, for one thing, it was all a metaphor for the creators battling with brain cancer. That came out a while later, I think, the understanding that was the case. But that's part of it. There were some really dark concepts, like a lot of betrayal and like mutilation in some stuff as well. There's a lot of weird memes that go around the community, like the fact that one of the story creators for the franchise said that love is not canon in the Bionicle universe. Just a lot of weird, kooky things. But I have always loved them, partly because of the nostalgia factor, and it's just like the designs are the best. And they are great sets. They've got good function to them. And it really satiated when I was a kid, my desire to like build something and play with it and break something down, build it again, that sort of stuff. It did a lot for that. And there's still a very active community of people who, one, still really enjoy and discuss the lore, and two, build all of their own sets and stuff. And, you know, people get really resourceful with with what they have, because it lasted for around 10 years, but then it was becoming less profitable, and they ended up canceling it, to a lot of people's dismay. Then rebooting it in 2015 didn't go nearly as well, partly because man-children type of thing. Because of course. And yeah, now the Lego company kind of doesn't even really acknowledge that it used to exist. At least that's the way that it feels.
Which is weird considering it kept them afloat.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's
they
strange.
definitely still sell Bionicles. Like, whenever I go into any Lego store and I still see them selling Bionicle stuff.
They don't. I don't know what you're seeing, but they don't. I'm
I
sorry
could
to
have
shoot
sworn.
you down. That sounded a little harsh, but no, they don't exist anymore. They were very much discontinued. What you might be seeing is just stuff that looks similar from other lines, but yeah, they do not exist anymore. And because of that, sometimes the resale value, especially of like the first couple years of sets, get really expensive. Like the 6 original Hero sets. I've seen some that can go for as little as like $10, but others that with the original canister and instructions and sealed especially go for like $100 per set. And that's a lot for something that originally cost like $8 when they first came out. Yeah. I don't know, but I love it. A lot of my upbringing kind of revolved around just like getting as many as I could. And just enjoying the games that were on the website. They had some good games. And again, the story is killer. Like, you would never think that a line of toys that were made originally to be a line of toys would have such a gripping story, but it really is super good. Occasionally, I will still watch the direct-to-home movies. Partly because of nostalgia, they still hold up to some degree. I really like watching them. They've got good music, which is still a big draw for me in movies, is the soundtracks.
True.
Yeah, I go back to them pretty often. Yeah, I have a fun time with them. I really wish that there were more around them, and that I had the money to spend on every set that I ever wanted, because I would have all of them. Well, there's one year that was just kind of garbage. They tried to wrap things up in the worst way possible, but whatever. We don't need to talk about that. But yes, I love Bionicle. Bionicle fans of the internet, unite, please. Eventually there will be a lore rant from me, possibly just on the Patreon. We will see. We have discussed it a couple of times. I think that's good, though. I think that's it for me.
Okay, so for one of my hyperfixations I got like super into is I really enjoy like sewing and embroidery and like cross stitch and all that kind of stuff. So the thing that originally kind of got me into it was I have this jacket that it used to be my mom's cadet's jacket because she was in cadets when she was younger. So it used to be my mom's cadet's jacket. So it's like really old. It's a really nice jacket. And like, I kind of stole it from her and I like it a lot. And so I had the idea to embroider like some roses on it and stuff like that. And I did. And So on one of the front pockets here, if it could get unstuck from my chair, I have a rose, and then on one of the other pockets on the lower side, on like the other side, I have some more roses.
They're so good.
And on the back, I have a snake, king snake, and some more roses. And I absolutely love the way it turned out. I think it's absolutely awesome.
It turned out really good.
Totally.
And like, yeah, that's what got me into like embroidery and like all that kind of stuff. And I really loved it. It took me months to finish.
Yeah.
Because like it takes absolutely forever. But like I started doing a little bit of like cross stitch. Like I have one of my projects like right over there that I'm working on, but it's not 100%. I'm working on it for my partner, so I'm not going to show it off or anything.
That's very fair.
Yeah. And yeah, so I got really into like embroidery and cross stitch, and like I think it'd be super cool to get into like sewing like clothes. But that'd be like really expensive to get into, because like we do have a sewing machine, but like you need to buy like cloth and
Fabric is so expensive.
Yeah,
but
Danny
you
and I
need to
have
buy,
done
like,
very
fabric
minimal
and-
like cosplay making by hand from sewing. But yeah, fabric gets expensive. Very expensive.
You need to buy fabric, you need to buy like patterns, you need like all sorts of different things like in order to do that. So like while I would absolutely love to try, it's like I just can't afford to get into that, you know. And
it's a big like it's a big investment of money right at the start. I mean, it is and it isn't. But yeah, I totally get what you mean. Like, especially if you're buying your own machine, you have to sink.
yeah, well, I was
in.
going to say, but I think you said something and interrupted me. We do have a machine.
Oh yeah, no, you did say you have a machine.
Yeah, so like, but that's just like my parents' machine, and it's like really, really old, and it's not the best. Like it works.
Yeah.
It works well enough. It's fine, but it's like it's pretty old. And yeah.
Yeah, and modern machines have better features and all that sort of stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like a machine is expensive, cloth, all that kind of stuff, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately expensive because it's cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it is
would
really
be-
cool, but
It would be a lot of fun to like fully make actual clothing, not even just cosplays and stuff, but
yeah.
you know, things that you would actually wear out.
Yeah, and like that's what I would be wanting to make as like clothing that like I would wear, and because I just think that'd be super cool. Like especially if someone liked it and they're like, "Hey, where did you get that?" And I could be like, "I made it," and
Exactly.
brag.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, there's a certain level of clout to saying that you made a piece of clothing yourself.
yeah. Yeah, so like for some reason that's the only thing I could really think of off the top of my head. I
a good way to go, though.
I used to be really into Supernatural. I watched Supernatural like all the time when I was younger, when it used to be on Netflix, but I only saw up to like season 11-ish before
too.
that
Yeah.
hyperfixation died.
You
And
made it farther than I did.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the rest of it. I kind of want to, but it's not on like Netflix or anything anymore. I think it might be on like HBO or something like that. Or but I'm not going to pay for another streaming service just for that, you know.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was also really, really, really into Tokyo Ghoul at one point. Like, I have a Tokyo Ghoul t-shirt. I used to have a Tokyo Ghoul hat. I don't know what happened to it. I had it for all of like a couple months, and I don't know what happened to it. I had a Tokyo Ghoul backpack, and with like, it had like Kaneki's face on it. I think I actually have it like, nope, I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere around here.
It's funny that you bring it up though, because that was also one of my previous hyperfixations was Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah.
He showed it to me when we first got married, just so that
Yeah.
just so that he could make sure I appreciated it with him.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I have
Yep.
a Kaneki pop figure, and like I can't remember the girl's name.
Toka.
Yeah, that one. I also have a pop figure of her as well, somewhere. I don't know where it
Caleb
is.
has two Kaneki pop
I have two
figures.
Kaneki Pops. I had Toka, but her legs were messed up. They wouldn't allow her to stand up straight. But then this longboard back here is hand painted, and it is Kaneki as well as the words for Tokyo Ghoul.
And then
in
we
kanji.
also got like almost all of the Tokyo Ghoul manga.
All of the original run, and then 5 of Tokyo Ghoul Re in Japanese that I got when I was in Japan.
Yeah.
I can't read those completely, but I can read parts.
Bits
It's also
and
pretty
pieces.
high level kanji, so
Yeah.
still, it's fun, and I still have a sweet spot for Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, that's really all I could think of off the top of my head, and I'm happy I was able to show off my jacket that I embroidered.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's just, like,
It's
super
beautiful.
cool to me. Like,
Oh yeah,
I thought
the
it
three
turned
of
out, like,
us-
really, really well.
Yeah, you, me, and Danny can talk about like sewing and stuff like that for a decent bit of time at least. Because
Yeah.
we do stuff like that more for the cosplay side, like we said. But yeah, there are things in
Yeah.
common there.
But, like, the jacket, that's the first thing that I ever embroidered, and I'm so happy it turned out so well. Because, like,
did.
I had
Yeah, we've
never embroidered anything before that, so I'm, like, really
we
happy
have
it turned
a
out really
rug,
well.
We have a rug on the floor behind us that like I actually made when I was like 16, like from like a latch hook kit. We got like secondhand from a garage store because like I was into crafty stuff. I love that.
pillow.
I made it in, like, junior high. It's covered in dog fur. Like, absolutely covered.
Amazing.
But I
mean,
made this
you've got
pillow
a lot of
in
dog.
junior high.
That's so good.
I like
and,
it.
like, yeah.
I vibe with that pillow.
It has a tongue sticking out face.
Yes.
For
people
anyone
who
listening
can't
just
see.
to the audio version. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the tongue sticking out emoticon.
It's purple and black, and it has the tongue sticking out face on both sides.
Yeah, looked fun.
And I made that when I was in, like, junior high. I think in, like, grade 7 or 8. I think it was 8. I'm not sure. But, yeah.
No,
I think...
I definitely went through a crafty phase when I went through that, like when I was around that age as well.
No, I made it in home ec. In, like, a sewing class.
Yeah, which is
Nice.
That was
Yeah,
actually,
that's
like,
fair.
the last year that my junior high had home ec. I don't know. I can't remember why they got rid of it or why they stopped, like, having that class, but, like, yeah.
Too bad. I really enjoy classes like that. Like
Yeah.
I did foods from like grade 9 through 12. Yeah, and I always really enjoyed it. I still quite enjoy cooking, which
Yeah.
you guys are aware. I do cooking with CM, as we call it, like barely. On Cass's Discord in the voice chat sometimes. And yeah, I like making food.
Yeah.
I especially enjoy making it for other people to enjoy.
Yeah. See, like, I
Yeah.
really love cooking as well. Like, for a while, I used to cook for my family every week. And then something happened where my dad was like screaming at me while I was cooking. So I was like, you're ungrateful and kind of rude. So I'm not cooking for you anymore. So I stopped cooking for my family, but I still cook for like my partner every once in a while. Like I'll pick a recipe and I'll write down like all the ingredients I need, and we'll go to the store on his way to on the way to his place and pick up all the ingredients I need, and then I'll make whatever for him. Like I've made French onion soup for him. I've made borscht. I've made bouillabaisse. It's like I really love cooking, and ignore that everything I listed is a soup.
Zarya likes cooking, but only if it's soup.
I'm really good at soups for some reason. Like,
Soup is good.
But to be fair, when I picked bouillabaisse, I didn't know it was a soup. But it is also a soup.
It still was.
Yes. For some reason. I just make a lot of soup. I don't know why.
It's good.
Yeah.
Soup
like
is
soup.
good.
Good soup.
Good soup.
Yeah. So I think that's it for me.
Hey.
Yeah, so that's probably it for everybody, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Everybody has gone, yes.
Yee.
So thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to the episode. We love all of you guys, and I know you guys have a lot of love in your hearts for us. So
Oh my god.
remember, Ian is
If you
living
don't,
in
we
your
will
walls.
find you and make you love us.
That is right. Ian is living in your walls.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Should that
You better
become
love
the
us.
outro?
Yes. And remember, Ian is living in your walls.
just
kinda like
every
that.
single time we just Ian's living in your walls.
Yeah.
It kind of works with the nonsense part of elevated
Yeah.
nonsense.
I kind of
That
love
is
it.
true.
We'll pitch that idea to the rest of the group.
Thank you for joining us. Remember, Discord, socials, all in the episode description. Check out our Patreon. We have merch. Probably gonna be having more coming out sometime. So yeah. Bye.
Bye.
See you guys.